So, 3.1. 3.1 is what is ecology. Let's start with defining what is ecology. Ecology is defined by the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their environment. When biologists want to talk about life on a global scale, they use the term biosphere. Biosphere consists of all life on Earth and all parts of the Earth in which life exists, including land, water, and the atmosphere. The biosphere contains every organism from bacteria to giant trees and whales and of course humans. Biosphere is divided into 6 levels, which are species, population, community, ecosystem, and biome. Ecologists also use the word environment to refer to all conditions or factors surrounding an organism. Environment conditions include biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors are any living parts of the environment with which an organism might interact, including animals, plants, mushrooms, and bacteria. Abiotic factors are any non-living part of the environment, such as sunlight, heat, precipitation, humidity, wind or water current, soil type, and so on and so on. Biotic and abiotic factors make up the environment, which is a mix of biotic and abiotic factors. Point 2. Chapter 3.2 talks about energy producers and consumers. All living systems operate by expending energy. Organisms need energy for growth, reproduction, and their own metabolic processes. In short, if there is no energy, there are no life functions. Yet, no organism can create energy. Organisms can only use energy from other resources. You probably know that you get your energy from the plants and animals you eat. But where does the energy in your food come from? It actually comes from life on Earth, and sunlight is the ultimate energy source. Only algae, certain bacteria, and plants can capture energy from sunlight or chemicals and convert it into forms that living cells can use. These organisms are called autotrophs. These organisms are also called primary producers. Primary producers are the first producers of energy-rich compounds that are later used by other organisms. For example, the best known and most common primary producers are plants. Plants get their energy from the phenomenon that is photosynthesis. Now, there are a few types of consumers. A organism is defined into each type of consumer based on what they eat. There are 6 different types of consumers, which are carnivores, herbivores, scavengers, omnivores, decomposers, and detritivores. Carnivores kill and eat other animals. This is the only thing they eat, which is obviously meat. Herbivores eat plants, leaves, roots, seeds, or fruits. Common herbivores include cows, caterpillars, and deer. Scavengers are animals that consume the carcasses of other animals that have been killed by predators or have died by other causes. Omnivores are animals whose diets naturally include a variety of meat and plants. Us humans are an example of omnivores. Decomposers, such as bacteria and fungi, feed by chemically breaking down organic matter. And detritivores feed on detritus particles, often chewing or grinding them into even smaller pieces. By detritus particles mean particles that are rotting, in the process of rotting. Now, 3.3 Energy flow in ecosystems. You can think of energy as passing through an ecosystem along a food chain. A food chain is a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. Food chains can vary in length. For example, in a priority ecosystem, a primary producer, such as grass, is eaten by an herbivore, such as a grazing antelope. A carnivore, such as a coyote, in turn feeds upon the antelope. In this two-step chain, the carnivore is just 2 steps removed from the primary producers. In some aquatic food chains, primary producers are a mixture of floating algae called phytoplankton and attached algae. In most ecosystems, feeding relationships are much more complicated than the relationships described in a single, simple chain. One reason for this is that many animals eat more than one kind of food. For example, on Africa's Serengeti Plain, herbivores such as zebras, gazelles, and buffaloes often graze upon several different species of grass. Several predators, such as lions, hyenas, and leopards, in turn often prey upon those herbivores. Ecologists call this network of feeding interactions a food web. Trophic levels and ecological pyramids. Each step in the food chain or a food web is called a trophic level. Primary producers always make up the first trophic level. Various consumers occupy every other level. One way to illustrate the trophic levels in an ecosystem is with an ecological pyramid. Ecological pyramids show the relative amount of energy or matter contained within each trophic level in a given food chain or food web. There are 3 different types of ecological pyramids: pyramids of energy, pyramids of biomass, and pyramids of numbers.